Hello, everyone, and welcome to a reaction series that I'm going to be doing on basically like love and hip hop, baddies, shows like that. I'm planning on doing Bad Girls Club whenever I find a way to watch it and whatnot. And I'm just basically gonna tell you guys how I felt about the season, reunions if they have any, and XYZ. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to start this series off with Baddies East. I'm not going to be talking about the reunion, which the second episode did air today. So I will have my thoughts on that, but in a different video. We're going to be strictly talking about the series of Baddies East today. And there's a lot of episodes. Like, let me tell you guys, like, my favorite season will always be Baddies West. Sorry, not Baddies South. Baddies West. I just like the cast more. You know, I just felt like the cast in Baddies West was like it. You know what I mean? But that's just my opinion. Don't crucify me for it. But Baddies East, I feel like it was stretched out. It was definitely like there's not a lot of seasons, so it's obviously in the top 5, but like it's not at the top of the list, if that makes sense to me. Cast wise, the cast was good. I think there was some of them I would have definitely not have brought on, but they, yeah, that. But there's like, you know, like, well, Vicky, like her time was like very minuscule. She didn't have to go there. I love Saya. I love what she represented. I'm so proud of her for coming on Baddies, but it was definitely too much for her. I'm so sorry about everything that happened with you, Saya. Hopefully everything's better. But she didn't really need to like do it either. It was a very short lasted thing. I'm kind of biased. I still like T. She was still there. She was not living in like any of the houses. She was on her own basically. But I like her, so I'm just gonna keep, you know, like I like T. I've liked T since Wildin' Out, but that's just me. Anna Mac, I grown to love her so much because of Baddies. I really do love Anna Mac. I fucks with her heavy. How do I explain this? I fucks with her energy or whatever. I'm not her, so I don't know what's going on behind the scenes and all of that. My opinion is strictly off of the energy on Baddies, putting it out there. To Seki, I love Seki. I think she stood on business. Everybody was like, I know there was a lot of people that was talking about how she had a lot of talk, but not a lot of like action or whatever. There's a lot of people saying that throughout the Baddies East, like, you know, reviews and stuff. And this is why I like to do it at the end of the series and get my thoughts about everybody over time rather than just one episode, because people can switch up. And basically, like, everything for me is going to go backwards because we're starting on Baddies East, and that's the most current season. But some of my likes for these people, like if they're returning, I did not like them before, or I liked them before and I don't like them now. It kind of switches up because of how they're portrayed in the show. So I'm not fake. I'm just real. And if you look like you're doing something wrong, you're doing somebody dirty, I'm definitely gonna feel some type of way about that. I'm just gonna say it. I'm gonna be out there with it. Who else? I like Scotty. Scotty's okay to me. She's pretty. She's eye candy. She's gonna come back next season too. So Scotty is she's just Scotty to me. I mean, like, she's there. Natalie's a boss. Not a lot of people will like to give Natalie none her flowers for the shit that she, does and behind the scenes and, bringing girls like a platform for them to like, their opinion to matter to someone else, like, isn't that what we all want? We want to be important to somebody else. Like, to me, that makes sense. Like, I want people to find me important. I want people to find my like personality like worthwhile and worth driving and stuff like that. So, obviously we all want that kind of platform. And Natalie does give people the platform. So I'm like, high key, gotta give you your flowers, girl, because you do it. In the beginning of the season, Krishan was there. She ended up leaving in the middle of because she was pregnant. So I kind of expected that. Like, we're going to see her sometimes, and then we're probably not going to see her because she's going to give birth and all of that. I kind of expected that. Stunner Girl was there during the whole like first episode, like kind of shit too. And then like they didn't even like, I feel like they didn't even respectfully give her an outro. Like they gave everybody an outro but Stunner. Like I feel like they should have gave like respectfully at least, like, hey, okay, it's your girl Stunner, like Stunner is just that bitch. So like, not really giving her, I don't know, maybe she just didn't give a fuck and she just didn't want one. But I feel like they did her dirty. That's why she don't fuck with them no more, she don't fuck with them. So yeah. What else? Biggie came on in the middle of the season. They called her a replacement. I would say so, like, they was kind of pooping on Biggie when she came in because of the whole replacement thing, and I'll get on that like a little bit later. But before all of the Biggie stuff happened, Krishan threw a bottle of lotion at Vicky. And I think she had a problem with Anna too, but I'm not really sure. I feel like all of that was squashed. I feel like she was more mad at Vicky because she was like, all her anger was on Vicky. And I was like, ooh, what the heck did she do? Like, isn't this like, the godly woman? Like, what is this? Like, what is this? And she got mad and like threw a bottle of, I think the lotion was closed though. I feel like the lotion was closed. I didn't see lotion on Vicky, but she's really, really pale. So it might have blended. I don't know. It might have blended in with her skin, and the scene didn't last too long after that. They was just dragging Krishan out, but I don't. And then Biggie, then Taseki gets jumped by Krishan's friends, April and Marsh or whatever. April and March, I don't know. That's the only way I remember them. Janet and Marsh, that's the Janet and Marsh. I remember them by January and March. I'm sorry. I watched like January and March. Janet and Marsh, Krishan's friends jump Taseki. So Taseki got the fair one in the grass on the field or whatever, and Taseki she dog walked them. She was the true MVP, the dog walker. And then Mariah's like, save Janet's life. Marsh got it off. Marsh was bleeding. she was like, ooh, she was gushing. She was like a gusher, the red gusher. That was her. Oh, that's so funny. Then Biggie moves in, and she says hi to everybody, hey queens, all of that stuff, and then shoots the fair one with Rolly. She just runs up like she, because Biggie can run. Her knees don't clack together when she runs, so she can run and it won't hurt. So there's that. And she just like squares up, and they go at it. Then Biggie finds out that she got bit. And boy, was this storyline, it felt like it was dragged forever. I feel like it's still currently lingering somewhere, because she put it on her spawn, Rolly put it on her spawn, that she did not bite Biggie. And the public, I'm not going to state my opinion, I'm going to be a good girl today. The public believes that she is full of shiz. She's full of shiz. Yeah. She's full of it. She did bite Biggie. And a lot of people have the opinion that putting her spawn into it when the spawn her spawn has nothing to do with the situation, and saying, oh, I swear on my spawn that I did not bite you. Like, yes, you did. That's what everybody's saying. You did bite her. Like, so everybody thinks she's full of it. I wasn't there, but I don't find it possible for you to bite yourself in that spot. Even Anna Mac was trying to figure out how would she be able to bite herself, because the story was that Biggie bit herself. I don't know how. Maybe some people was like trying to make a joke out of it, like, she probably got hungry in the middle of the fight and she probably bit herself trying to eat. I don't know. But she was bleeding. She got bit. The girls still had to go to the hospital and get a rabies shot. That one took me out. Then, for majority of it, 90% of the series, the house was separated between one house, which, the open quote, I'm using quotes here, guys. I know you can't see me, but I'm using quotes. Okay. The elite group, which consisted, in the beginning, it was assumed that the house A is what they called it, was Rolly, Mariah, T, Scotty, and Natalie. So it's Natalie, T, Mariah Lynn, Rolly, and Scotty. I think it was one more. I keep forgetting who. It was them, the open quote elite group or whatever, was in that house. And then all of the other girls, which in the beginning was Saya, Vicky, Krishan she was in her own hotel room, because in the first episode, Taseki and Krishan and Natalie, they got into it or whatever. So these two was in their own hotel room or whatever, and that was the last episode we saw Stunner. Like that was the last episode. She was just there. She was talking to them. She looked so beautiful too. At least she looked really good when she left or whatever. But yeah, that was, I think it was like the first and the second episode. They was like, yeah. And after all of that, then Taseki ended up moving into the house B, is what they called it, or whatever. It was Taseki, Vicky, Saya, Anamac, Camilla, Sky, Tatted Sky, Smiley, and I think that was it. Then a few episodes came by or whatever, girls got dropped, and Natalie says, well, we need replacements. This is my opinion about the replacement. Although they did a goodie and they brought back Biggie, I feel like Biggie was all they needed. Biggie was all they needed, because there was the complaint online after all of the season was up and everything was said and done. The complaint was there was too many girls on this season. So if there's too many girls, why did you said you needed the replacements. You didn't need the replacements. You needed an excuse to have two separate houses because you wanted to segregate the elite, the higher end, open quote, I'm using quotes again, girls from the girls you thought was regular. Now, in my opinion, I feel like Tatted Sky and Camilla, regardless of whatever issues anybody in either house had, should have been in house A if you considered yourselves a elite group. And eventually throughout the series, you know, Tatted Sky, the Sky, she's from Black Ink Crew, not to confuse you guys with Sky High Baby, which is the DJ, or DJ Sky, not to confuse you guys with that. But they, you know, like she eventually becomes friends with, not friends, but well acquainted, and you know, no bad issues with everybody in the whole set, which is good. It's always good to have people that are down with you, you know what I mean? Good for you, Sky. I feel like Sky's the only one who didn't have a fight this season. I feel like everybody else did go 1-2, 1-2, like it was a conga line and whatnot. But another goodie that we saw was the result of Mariah's sister getting pushed at the auditions. Now, a lot of people online saying, oh, well, Smiley pushed her sister, blah, 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 and that's why the drama between them, and that's why they're there. I'm gonna be honest with you. Smiley's okay and all, but she didn't need to be on Baddies at all. And they portrayed Mariah in such a bad way that I would never even be on the network again if that was me. Like, in all brutal honesty. So, hopefully the money was good, because Mariah didn't really need to be there to elevate herself even more. I feel like it made her look worse than who she is as a person, because she was not that way in Love and Hip Hop at all. That's how you could tell if a network likes you, if they, you know, if they got you like that. And they don't got you like that over there, baby. No, they don't. They brought the replacements because, well, Vicky ended up leaving, Saya ended up leaving again because of personal issues. Rashawn had to, like, go because, she's was ready to pop any minute now. So now he's like, we need replacements, blah blah blah. Now this is where everything goes in because Biggie was introduced this season as a replacement, and it was a back and forth online this whole season. Biggie is a replacement, she isn't a replacement. If you think about it in the overall, okay, and I'm gonna give it to you guys in two ways. The way I think about things and the way that um so I'm the way I think about things and the way that like people that think one-sided, either going towards this end or going towards this end. Is Biggie a replacement? To me, in my brain, it's a yes and a no. Because, and this is where that's my thinking of things. Like, yeah, she's a replacement, but she's not a replacement at the same time. I have a weird way of thinking about things because I'm very technical and I like to, think about the technicality of everything. So, for example, the Biggie thing, let's use that. On one end, people are like, yeah, she's a replacement because on Baddies East, she got introduced as a replacement. Duh, she's of course a replacement. Are you goofy? Like, are you a goober? And it's like, okay, yeah, sure. Like, she got introduced on Baddies East as a replacement, sure, blah, blah, blah. That's good for your argument. But she was an original cast member in Baddies West. So I don't understand how that would make her fully a replacement because she was there at the auditions. She was there for like basically everything, minus the sit down with the girls that, in the first episode, Natalie had the girls sit down, say that they were all returning, blah blah blah. She had Stunner there. She had all of that. She should have had Biggie there, if you want me to be honest. I feel like Biggie should have seen it all the way through because she did bring a big thing to Baddies West in my eyes. And I'll talk about that a little later when I do my review on Baddies West. But I feel like Biggie was like the only one who auditioned and got in, and that was huge. That was very impactful. It showed that she had enough impact on the crew and the casting and even Natalie to say, hey, yeah, let's get this girl, let's pick her up. Because most people think that this, like, oh, they have castings just for the hype and all of that. They don't really bring anybody from the auditions, but they brought Biggie, so I guess it gives people hope. Not really sure about it like that, but yeah. And what can I say? Like, I'm a little biased. I think Biggie's great. I always liked her energy, even in Baddies West. And I understood why she did certain things or whatever. Even during this season, like, Biggie definitely stepped on some toes. She wasn't, well, she obviously was the most popular, yes, MVB, most valuable baddie. And all of that, but like, according to Suki and Sapphire and them towards the end of the season, Biggie was hated by everybody. So, you know, she was hated by the cast, but she was loved by us. Fuck it. Anyways, Natalie and Taseki made up after Krishan got Taseki jumped by her friends. Which means Natalie didn't have like a target on her, I guess. I don't know. I feel like Taseki just saw through things and she was like, you know what, I'm too grown to do this and to do that because of immature stuff, which was the biggest complaint about a lot of people about her this season. Like, oh, she says I eat and blah 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 and this that, but she didn't. A baddie doesn't have to necessarily fight all the time. And that's what Natalie be trying to tell people. Like, you could be a baddie and you could talk you could talk your talk. But if we're going out and we're going to see the fans, we're going to see people that actually, want to see us and stuff, we're about to make some money. Don't mess the money up. Like, come on. Don't mess the money up. And I feel like that's one of the main reasons why girls don't come back in the next season unless they're highly favored by either Mr. Pepper or Miss Nunn or security or staff or pretty much anyone in that network. You got to be highly favored. Highly favored. And if you're highly favored, then you get what you want. You get your money, you get your seasons, and the more seasons you do, from what I hear, the more seasons that you do, the more money that you get from the show. So they offer you higher rates. So Taseki and Natalie, they fought, they got over it and stuff like that. Then came when it came to like Natalie and all of that kind of stuff, they like, a lot of people got problems with Natalie. Nobody really does anything about it, so it's whatever. Then T was feeling sick and got hit by 3 different girls in one day while she was sick. Like, I feel like that was a little too much. Like, that was, I don't know. I feel like it was a little too much because it's like, really, like, you playing with me now. There's no way. Because how do I explain it? How do you go on and say, oh, a look is what got me? Because E.T. is the one who popped off on her first. Then her and Scotty got into it. I don't even know why. She yelled at Scotty because Scotty was telling her to calm down or whatever. And she didn't want to calm down. She was trying to, talk about her, like her trauma and stuff like that. And she was like, well, you got to calm down. No, I don't want to calm down. I understand both parties. Like, I don't want you to yell at me. But I don't want you to tell me to calm down on the situation that somebody asked me about. They asked me how I felt about it. I'm going to tell them how I felt about it because I felt comfortable enough talking about how I felt about it. You can't tell me to calm down whilst telling these 2 women that asked me what's wrong with me while I'm telling them what's wrong with me. What the fuck? Like, what's wrong with you? You can't do that. So I understand why she yelled at her, but at the same time, really, girl, you got yelled at by Miss Nunn every freaking season. You probably got yelled at her every day. And you getting mad at this girl that barely know you, that just was like, you're not gonna tell me to calm down. I'm not gonna calm down. Because then you would have kept coming at her over and over and over. Like, So I get it, but I don't know. Like, if it was me, I wouldn't necessarily take it that serious. Not anymore, at least. I think about things a lot deeper now. But before, probably when I was like 21 or whatever, I probably would have definitely went like, oh no, you gotta fight. We gotta fight or something. Like, I probably would have been fighting at 21. But I'm old now, so it's like, nah, whatever. Suki and Sapphire coming also as replacements. So we already got Biggie. We got Suki and Sapphire coming. And when they come in, I feel like all hell starts to break loose because Sapphire is there to stay. So like after T and Scotty get into it, all of that, T ends up being in-house B. I don't even know if she was in-house A to begin with, but I know she was hanging around them more in the beginning. And then she like started hanging out with specifically Sky and Sky Tatted Sky, by the way, and DJ Sky too, and Camilla, which they were in the house B. A lot more. So they consider her house B, even though I don't really think that she lived in either of those houses. I feel like she had her own hotel room and she was not having it. As far as Suki and Sapphire, so Sapphire and Suki ended up like, oh, these are high profile girls, blah blah blah. Okay, you come in the house A. They go to house A or whatever, they start talking, but Sapphire is there to stay. And Suki's in and out. So Suki hears what she's hearing. I'm assuming from Sapphire, because they come in as best friends. Oh, I'm Suki's best friend, blah, blah, blah. And XYZ. I'm assuming Sapphire was telling Sukiana like information that she was hearing from Natalie. That's my assumption about it. I feel like Sapphire was talking to Natalie and Rolly and all of them so much that she just like relayed all of the messages and all of the information to Suki. And that's why Suki was like, oh, I don't like it. Eventually before the trip to Jamaica, because Jamaica was the last stop. Okay. And there was a whole bunch of fights in between then. Smiley got the chain taken away. Smiley took Mariah Lynn chain, and the chain was a cast member for like 7 episodes and all of that. I just want to talk about the things that I have an opinion on, because most of the stuff on this season was so played out. Like, it was so dragged. Like, they dragged so much stuff. Like that chain storyline, bruh, that was a sitcom series plot line. Like, that was just like, you might as well have given the chain some legs and a mouth and made it its own character. Give it a freaking Gucci bag and some nails or something so it could be a baddie too, because the chain's a baddie. They care more about the chain than they cared about Mariah. Like, I'm gonna be honest. So some of this stuff was stupid, like the chain thing. They made this chain a special guest star for like 9 episodes, and it was mentioned. They should have gave the chain its own salary for how often it was mentioned throughout Baddies Ease. The first half of the season was Mariah chain, Mariah chain, Mariah chain, Mariah chain, Mariah chain. And how do I explain this? I don't even know where to go. Like, where can they take this now? Because the drama this season was so dull, and like for me it was just brainless fighting. Like they was just fighting just to fight. I don't feel like there was too much real beef with each other. I feel like it's not that much of real life for it to be like that big and that serious for some of them. Now, for the jumping thing, like you got me jumped is over for life. So she forgiving her is better than me, but at the end of the day it is sisters. So I understand, like I would forgive my sister, but it would take a very long time for me to be like, okay sis, yeah, I forgive you for that. Like I definitely forgive you for that. My bad. Yeah, my bad, girl. Like I didn't even, yeah, my bad, girl. When it comes to the allegations that was made, like, and I'll talk about this in the video about the reunion and stuff like that, but there was, after the season was over, there was a lot of allegations that one girl made towards another, and it was that's real drama, because those allegations are crazy. I'm not the biggest, brightest researcher, so I didn't really like research if this was true or not, but it don't seem like the type. I don't know, it's just not screaming like, oh my god, this is true. Like everybody's coming forward and saying a whole bunch of stuff and this, that. It just don't seem that way to me, but I haven't researched hard enough, so don't crucify me in the comments. What else can I say? Like, the season to me, like, I mean, it was better than the first season of Baddies. But to me, the first season of Baddies, for the most part, was a flop. For the most part. There was really, really good scenes in it, but as a whole, it flopped. It should have went as long as what Baddies East was this season. I feel like if they would have went on in the first season a little bit longer, and they would have had I don't even think they had a reunion for season 1, but if they would have had more episodes and, you know, more activities and more stuff to do, then yeah, it definitely would have been a lot better than Baddies East, because the cast was okay, the locations were lit. It was just, one, they were segregated, like they were separated. I feel like it would have been way better if it would have been under one roof. Like, honey, you rich, girl. Get you a big old house with like 18 rooms. You'll be fine. Write it as a tax off at the end of the year. A tax write-off, like, oh, we rented this house or whatever, it was this much money, blah 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 blah. You'll get your money back. I think I'm not really good at taxes, but tax write-off, honey. Get your money, girl. What? You could go to Dubai all the time. You could buy a big old house and do your thing, chicken wing, you know. But no, I feel like that was one of the major problems. Like, definitely having the two houses separate. I don't really care about the private jet stuff. I feel like all of that was just whatever. Like, they do it every season. To me, it's whatever. I do feel like they did Biggie wrong. I do feel like Rolly did possibly bite Biggie. I feel like E.T. just did not like the way that that T's face looked that day. She probably was like, why is this girl just staring at me? It was probably a huge misunderstanding. They ended up making up at the end of the season, kinda. T's like, I don't love you, but I don't hate you either, so you good. All good in the hood. The chain got chained, and the chain hanging low. I don't know, like, everything else was good. Like, the stuff, like, the fights was just too much. Like, Rolly and Sukiyana fought, and they was talking about each other's kids and their lower genitalia area. Like, they was talking about a lot nasty stuff. Saying that somebody got some car grease coming out. Like, I don't know. It's just wild to me. Like, wow. I don't know. Child, I was just done. It all took me out. And then for them to make up in the next episode was just topping on the cake, because could not be me. Cannot be me, baby. Cannot be me. Anyways, the end of the season, it ended up with people having beef. Mariah Lynn with Suki and Sapphire. She really wanted to, catch the 1-2 step with them. Smiley left early too. Like I said earlier, I don't feel like Smiley needed to be there. You want me to be honest? And like, if Mariah was there and Smiley wasn't, I feel like it definitely would have been a lot better for her. She would have portrayed herself in the way that she probably wanted to begin with. And then it ends with them being at Bob Marley house and all of this kind of stuff, and they was partying and having a good time and had a toast and all of that, and happily ever after until the reunion. Now, the reunion was filmed, I believe, 3 or 4 weeks after the last episode aired. So, or not after the last episode aired, after the season ended. It's like 4 weeks or so. And the second episode, there's 3 episodes, so I'm not gonna be doing the review on the reunion until next Sunday, which is gonna be the next video. Just explaining my thoughts about the reunion and all of that stuff. I feel like the girls that should come back, I feel like Titus Sky should come back. I don't think Camilla coming back, but I hope she does. I hope Natalie just like open hands, like, come on, let's be OGs for real, and let's bring some girls under my wing. But she do F with Rolly like that, so I don't know, because Rolly and Miller was like going back and forth, so I don't know. It might, Natalie might throw a little bit of shade, you know. And she can be like, my name is Natalie Lunn, you can't chit chat me. I feel like T should come back to redeem herself, but I don't think she would. I would love Anna to come back. Biggie needs to come back. If ET do come back, I hope she redeem herself, because whoo, you looked real bad on TV, girl. Smiley could stay where she's at. Taseki, I feel like Taseki could come back. I mean, it depends though, cause is Krishan coming back? Like, she ain't Prego no more, so is she taking her throne back, or did she pass it to her sis? Like, that's the thing that I'm trying to figure out. But that, like, what do you guys think? You guys think that Taseki's gonna come back and that she replaced Krishan, or that Krishan taking her roles back? What you think? What you think? Let me know in the comments, and come back next Sunday for my reaction series to reality TV.